Hello, this is Jareth, and today we're going to talk about the Sword Banishing Ritual. This ritual can be found in the book Magickal Protection by Damon Brand. It's a very simple ritual that you'll perform several times. It recommends that you do this twice a day, in the morning and the evening. And you also need it if you're going to perform any of the other rituals in the book. Almost all of them call for the sword banishing at the beginning, especially the Master Protection Ritual. Uh, in fact, these angels that you call on here are also a part of the Master Protection Ritual. Even though you don't call on them in that, they're part of their names are in the talisman. So it's important to learn how to do this ritual, and it begins with an activation. The activation, you only have to do it once. It's very important though. You have to do it the one time, or it won't ever work for you. So be sure that you've done your activation before you try to do the actual ritual. It's not hard to do the activation ritual. You have 11 names, different angel names. So you don't have to memorize them. You'll just read them, just practice with them. So, use the pronunciation more or less as it has been in the other books. They don't break it down in this quite like they do in the other ones, but, the same pronunciation applies. And just, do the best you can. It's not important that you're accurate. It's important that you're confident in your pronunciation of them. You can get it completely wrong, but as long as you're confident about it and your intent is to perform the ritual and to get it to activate, you're going to do just fine. That's all that matters. So to perform the activation, there's a sigil in the book, and it has each name written in Hebrew and then in English. And you'll just start at the top, and you'll scan the letters from right to left, and then say the name. And you want to say it at least 3 times, but you can continuously say it up to a minute if that, is more appealing to you. And then you just move on to the next one, and you scan from right to left, and you say that name at least 3 times. But again, you can keep going. By doing this, you're just making these angels aware of you and connecting yourself to them. And then once you do that, you say the last name, then you're done. There's nothing you need to do to complete the ritual or finish it out, because you're not really ever done. Now you're working with these angels, you've connected to them, and you can call upon them whenever you need them. And so that's the activation. So when we get to the actual banishing, it does involve some visualization, but just do the best you can. It's not important to have a real detailed visual image. Just, again, like I say a lot, use your memories. And what you're going to visualize is fairly simple. You're just going to imagine the sun, and you're going to feel the power of the sun and its heat, on you. And then you're going to imagine the sun, and just imagine how big the sun is compared to you and to the earth. And then imagine it shrinking down and coming towards you, and all of that power of the sun going down and, going inside you into your heart. And then you're going to just imagine the sun, all that power that's, in the sun, as a tiny star in the center of your heart. Then you say the first name, Yohak, and you're going to imagine that angel standing next to you, and he's got 2 swords. One sword is covering himself in a protective stance, while the other one is facing forward, ready to attack. And you can imagine these angels however you want. There's no right or wrong. You can picture them as traditional angels with wings, or you can picture them as WWE wrestlers. You can picture them as powerful anime characters. Whatever works for you, just whatever symbolizes power and protection for you. But the important thing to have is the swords. Remember that each have the sword that's across his chest in a defensive stance, and one pointed forward, ready to attack. And then once you've called on the first angel, then you move on to the second angel, Kalak, and imagine that he is standing on your left, and he's holding a huge, brilliant sword in each hand, and these swords need to be, like glowing, like I think he says brilliant, like starlight or something. So the swords are actually the most important part of the visualization. And the angels need to be facing the same, direction as you. They're not looking at you, they're facing the same direction as you. And if you're lying down, then they're facing like towards your feet. They're like standing by your head facing your feet. Okay, so then you're going to say or think, you can do this in your mind, you don't have to do it out loud. The next angel, not Zariel. And that's when you're going to go back to the star that's in your heart. And you don't visualize this angel, you just you go back to that visualization of the sun that's in your heart. And then as you say the name of the final angel, Aziel, the star expands inside you, completely covers you, or completely covers your room or your house, your whole town, however big you want to make this, protective bubble. I tend to think of it almost like if you've ever seen the film of a nuclear explosion, that white hot center, that's kind of how I imagine it. It's just this giant like nuclear bomb that just goes off and it just annihilates anything that's negative or has any negative intentions towards me or my loved ones. You want to just, and then you want to make that sphere go around everything that you want to protect. It doesn't have to be super huge. Like I said, just kind of, can just be around you or your family, or the room you're in. It takes energy to make that sphere. It doesn't seem like it would maybe, and so it can be more difficult to make a really big sphere. At least that's how I found it. So you imagine the sphere, and then just hold it for a moment. You don't have to think about it for very long, and then just let it fade. And the angels can fade, and the banishing is done. And that's all there is. It may sound a little complicated at first, and you might have to look at the angels' names for a while or whatever. I definitely had to. But as you do it, you're going to do this one a lot, so you'll eventually get the hang of it, and you'll get it where you can just do it from memory. Anytime you feel like something is off, you might want to just do this. Damon, like I said, suggests you do this like twice a day. I don't tend to banish that often, but that's just my personal take. I think that most people over banish, but I won't get into that too much. Just do it as often as you feel that you need to do it. If you feel you need to do it, 2 times a day, that's wonderful. Do it 2 times a day. If you don't feel you need to do it that often, then don't. Just find what works for you and use your intuition, and you'll be fine. I mean, like I said, this is a wonderful ritual that I'm very grateful for. I enjoy this banishing much more than any of the other ones that I've ever done or looked into. And again, it's just so simple. I love it. That's it for this ritual. I can't think of anything else that I need to say about it. So I will be doing more videos from rituals in this book. I don't want to do them all in one video. So I'll be splitting it up so that you don't have to, try to search through a video to find the one ritual that you are interested in hearing about or whatever. So those will all be coming out, pretty soon after this one. Well, thank you for listening to this, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.